Good evening, everybody. How is everybody doing? It's good to see you. Good Tuesday evening. It feels kind of strange saying evening, doesn't it? Considering we've been doing this during the mornings for so long. Let me see. Coffee first, then speak. How are you doing? I hear you had a birthday here not too long ago. So happy birthday. How you doing, Papa's Farm? Blackbird, how are you? Oh, all right. I am going to start this off with, let's just call it a disclaimer, a waiver, whatever you will. This is not the live stream that I had planned to do today. I had that live stream all set up. I had all of my receipts, all my ducks in a row. Everything was ready to go. And I stepped away from it. When I stepped away from it, I started doing some research on some stuff that, well, honestly, it's for the new channel. And just as I was getting done with that, I started seeing some of the things that I'm going to share with y'all tonight. And after I took a good long look, hey Loretta, how are you? After I took a good long look at some of the things that I'm going to tell you guys tonight, after I started putting some things together, I saw some things that I'm going to just be upfront with you. I saw some things that shook me to the core about some of the things that are going on in the world today that are not a lot of the major news media, not a lot of the channels are reporting. Um, One of these things, a combination of these things, anything like that, and we could find ourselves waist deep in SHTF and not in the too distant future. I mean, I am talking days, maybe weeks. And y'all know me. You know I am not a fear porn kind of guy. I am not a clickbait kind of guy. But it's like I said, some of the stuff I found out last night, y'all, it rattled me. I had a conversation later on last night with Mrs. Shady about it, and it rattled her as well. Um, Starting off, I might as well just start off in the beginning. Hey, Yankee, how are you doing? Um, this whole Russia Ukraine thing is about to blow up. Pun intended. This whole Russian Ukraine thing is about to blow completely up. Um, I'm going to pull this up. This is from Politico, y'all. White House finalizing plans to expand where Ukraine can hit inside of Russia. Now, I want y'all to take a real good look at this fine print right here. The talks have been closely held among a small group of officials inside the White House. Now, I'm going to get to that in just a minute, but the White House is finalizing a plan to ease some restrictions on how Ukraine can use get this, U.S. donated weapons and better protect itself from Russian missiles, according to a Western official and two other people familiar with the discussions. The talks have been closely held among a small group of individuals inside the White House. Okay. All of these people in this group have been allowed to remain anonymous because they're not authorized to speak publicly about the conversations. Okay. The details of the plan are still coming together, but officials in Washington, London, and Kyiv have in recent days discussed expanding the area inside of Russia that Ukraine can hit with American and British made weapons. Okay, so the first thing that I want to know is who is this small group? Okay, who is this small group in the White House that is making these decisions that could get us killed? It's not Biden. Biden said bye bye to NATO yesterday. So it's not Biden. Biden's not doing it. Surely it's not Kamala Harris, because that woman ain't got enough damn sense to even wade off into anything like this. So who is it? Who are the people in the White House? Who is in this group that is making these decisions? And you do notice that in the article, it said that they had all been granted, that they could remain anonymous because they're not supposed to be talking about it. Now, they might be able to remain anonymous about it. They might not be talking about it, but that does not mean that Putin is not aware of the situation. Actually, Putin responded to what was going on. It's pretty scary that I'm actually learning how to do this. All right, this is from the BBC. Putin draws new red line on long range missiles. Speaking in St. Petersburg, President Putin sent a clear warning to the West. Don't allow Ukraine to use your long range missiles to strike Russian territory. Moscow, he said, would view that as the direct participation of NATO countries in the war in Ukraine. It would substantially change the very essence, the nature of the conflict. This will mean that NATO countries, the USA, the European states, are fighting with Russia. Now, actually, the Guardian, the Guardian got it just a little bit better than that. This is from the Guardian, if I can get back to it. All right, Putin lifting Ukraine missile restrictions would put NATO at war with Russia. Comments come after Antony Blinken hints U.S. will lift restrictions on Kyiv's use of weapons inside of Russia. Antony Blinken. Wherever that guy goes, it's a straight up freaking mess. Vladimir Putin has said that a Western move to let Kyiv use longer range weapons against targets inside of Russia would mean NATO would be at war with Moscow. Putin spoke as U.S. and UK top diplomats discussed easing the rules on firing weapons, Western weapons, into Russia. This would, in a significant way, change the very nature of the conflict, Putin told a state television reporter. It would mean that NATO countries, the U.S., the European countries, are at war with Russia. He added, and this is scary, he added, if that's the case, then taking into account the change of nature of the conflict, we will take the appropriate decisions based on the threats that we will face. You can't put it much, you can't make it much clearer than that, y'all. Putin has drawn a red line in the sand. Now, granted, Putin has been known to rattle sabers before. Putin has been known to say, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. What you need to think about with Putin is Putin will say that we're going to put troops here. And then Putin puts troops here. Putin will say that we are going to move our nuclear missiles here. Putin will put nuclear missiles here. It is funny to me, it is strange to me that this is happening with less than 45 days. How you doing, Red Dog? Less than 45 days until a presidential election in this country. And speaking of that, there is this growing fear in this country. I don't even know if you can call it a growing fear or not, but there is this underlying idea that civil disturbances are going to break out, that as we get closer to the election, after the election, that we're going to see a rise in civil disturbances around this country. The Texas Politics Project. I know that sounds kind of hokey, but bear with me. The Texas Politics Project at the University of Texas at Austin did a survey in February of 2024. In that survey, y'all look at this, 24% of the people surveyed said that political violence in this country due to the election results is very likely. 36% said that it was somewhat likely. That is 60% of the people that were polled in this survey. 60% believe that we are going to see civil disturbances, civil unrest leading up to the election and probably after the election. Yeah, we've already seen this. Okay? We are seeing this in our streets. We're seeing this on college campuses. We are seeing this in Aurora, Colorado. We are seeing this in Springfield, Ohio. We are seeing all kinds of civil unrest. A lot of it is coming from the illegals that are in this country right now. But 60% of the people who took this survey believe that we will see some kind of political violence between now and the election and after the election. And you know, the thing about it is like I said, y'all, they are already here. Okay? There are sleeper cells already in this country. If you don't believe that, then I honestly don't know what to tell you. With everything that has come up through that southern border in the past 3 years, the fighting age Chinese males, God only knows how many Middle Eastern people have come up through that border. And speaking of the Middle East, that is another powder keg that is about to go off. I know that's a little bit funny, but maybe a little bit of humor in this might ease it up just a little bit. Because Israel just conducted one of the most successful hits on Hezbollah that I have ever saw before in my life. They used cell phones, they used pagers, and they took out, I think, hundreds of the top dogs in Hezbollah. Um, of course, Hezbollah has vowed that they are going to retaliate against this. Okay. What a lot of people do not seem to realize with this whole Israeli Gaza Hezbollah conflict, what a lot of people don't seem to realize about this. Israel right now is fighting a battle on 8 fronts. 8 fronts. I don't care what you think about Israel. I honestly don't. I don't care if you stand with them. I don't care if you don't stand with them. You have to remember one thing. Israel is a very small country. Israel is a tiny country compared to some other ones. Israel is fighting a war on 8 different fronts. Logic says that Israel cannot stand that sort of attack. They cannot persevere in that sort of a war. Israel, if this keeps up, Israel will fall. Now, all the Muslims in the Middle East consider Israel to be the little Satan. They consider America to be the big Satan. So, who do you think, after Israel falls, after this conflict is over in the Middle East, but it's never over, we all know that. It's been going on for thousands of years, it's never over. But after Israel falls, if Israel falls, who do you think these people are going to come after? Well, they're going to come after the big Satan. Hello, Katrinka. How are you? If I missed anybody in chat, I'm sorry. Now, it's like I said a while ago, there are already terrorist cells in this country. Okay? You can see that, like I said, on the college campuses, on the streets. All the pro Hamas, all the Israel must die, all the from the river to the sea crowd, they're already here. If they're not part of a sleeper cell, then they are brain dead, gaslit zombies that will follow this rhetoric wherever they are told to follow this rhetoric. Now, just to add to that, we have this little jewel. Dock workers might create October surprise to really hate. That kind of rhymes, and I didn't even notice it when I was reading over it. This is from the CT Mirror. It was written by a man named Jim Cameron. I do not know Jim Cameron. This is the first thing, I'll admit, this is the first thing that I have ever read from Jim Cameron from Connecticut. I believe it's, yeah, Connecticut. But Cameron says, and this is true, on October the 1st, approximately 45,000 dock workers at 36 different U.S. East Coast and Gulf Coast ports are expected to go on strike. They're going to walk off the job. They're going to shut down almost half of all U.S. imports by sea. That is true. 41% of our imports come through docks and ports on the East Coast and in the Gulf of Mexico. So, if you have ordered you a fine mahogany chair from the Highlands of Scotland and it comes across the Atlantic and it gets to New York and that port is shut down, it has to find a port to where it can dock and where it can unload its cargo. There is nothing open all the way down the eastern seaboard. This ship, your mahogany chair, is going to have to go all the way south, go through the Panama Canal, come back up the western side of the country, and find a port that is open there that can take and unload its cargo. The backup, the backup at the Panama Canal itself is going to be enough to totally destroy the supply chain, let alone these hundreds and hundreds of ships that are going to be sitting offshore of the West Coast waiting to get into port to unload. This article goes on saying, remember post COVID when store shelves are empty, construction delayed, pharmaceuticals in short supply, and auto production disrupted? Online orders were delayed and prices soared. The guy says this could happen again. Dude, this ain't gonna, there's no could happen again. If these guys walk off the job, this is going to happen again. Your mahogany table is going to be sitting in LA after it finally gets off a ship. And then it is going to have to be shipped all the way across country. The cost to you, the consumer, is going to be astronomical. So it's like I said, y'all, any one of these things would be bad. You get a combination of these things going on at the same time, and it will get really, really bad, really, really fast. A lot of the things with the civil unrest, the social unrest, a lot of that, you depending on who wins the election is going to be who's in the streets protesting. And there's a lot of guys there's a lot of people out there. I've been hearing they're actually saying that if Trump does not win this election, and it looks like it has been tampered with, there's going to be a civil war. Y'all, I don't think there's going to be a civil war. For one thing, for one thing, there are no defined lines. Logistically, it would be a nightmare. What I think we will probably see is groups, pockets of people conducting guerrilla warfare. I don't think it's going to be a civil war or a war like we have ever seen, if it happens at all. And of course, the crazies when Antifa and BLM, they just need a reason to go burn and pillage and rape. So, you know, oh geez, Red Dog. I'm going to tell you something, Red Dog. What if President Trump gets unalived? I hate that word. I honestly hate that word unalived. I don't know where it came from. However, to answer your question, if President Trump gets assassinated, I'm just going to say assassinated, President Trump gets taken out, it could lead to some pretty hairy, pretty scary stuff. These same people that are saying that if they even get some kind of hint that this election is crooked, that it's been rigged, these same people are going to be the same ones to where if Trump gets assassinated, they're going to be the ones to start it. Now, I don't know how much you guys know about guerrilla warfare. It is nasty. War itself is nasty. Guerrilla warfare is even nastier. If you think of Red Dawn on steroids, yeah, you've got guerrilla warfare right there. But let's take a look over at the chat and see what you guys are saying. Um, it's coming no matter who gets in office. Yankee, That makes a lot of sense. It really does. The social unrest, the civil unrest, that makes a lot of sense. As far as the war with Ukraine and Russia escalating, going nuclear, I believe it's a very, very, very probable outcome to all the things that are going on over there right now. I'm telling y'all something right now. Most of you guys know, I live in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I have two Air Force bases, an Army base, an Air Force Academy, NORAD, Space Command, all right here. Mrs. Mrs. Shady has paid attention to air traffic in this town ever since 9/11, and to some degree, COVID. Hang on just a second. Shady, all that, I wish I could read coffee. Shady, all the words that get flagged in my YouTube most of the time, the comment won't even go through. YouTube removes it before it gets posted. Well, that's fine, but I'm still I'm still just going to say the word itself. Thanks for the tip, though. Um, anyway, I live in Colorado Springs, Colorado. This is a military town. And like I said, Mrs. Shady has been paying attention to the air traffic in this town since 9/11 and to a degree since COVID. There has been a lot, a lot of military air traffic over the past couple of months, to be honest with you, here in this town. And yes, I do know, I understand, I get it. Fort Carson is always doing practice maneuvers. They are always training. I understand that. But I personally saw three, and I don't know if they were Apaches, but they were attack helicopters flying in tight formation, very low, over town the other day. The wife was driving and she heard them. She said she distinctly heard two huge helicopters. She never saw them, but they were low and they were so loud that their engines and their propellers in the air made it sound like thunder, like the entire sky was rumbling. So maybe it's maneuvers, maybe it's training. I don't know. I don't even want to guess. Hey there, Backwoods, how you doing? I don't even want to guess. But I'm telling y'all something right now. Something is coming. Something is about to blow. And it's like I said a while ago. I don't live in Canada. Okay, I'm not selling merchandise. I'm not trying to do the fear porn thing. Okay, I may look a little bit like Brad, but I am not trying to be Brad. Okay, with the bad news thing. But if you can't feel it, if you can't feel that there is something going on, and there's people that the stuff that we were talking about Russia, there's stuff saying, oh, that's fake news, blah, 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 blah. I got it from three different news sources, y'all. Two of those news sources were saying almost exactly word for word the same thing. Is it fake news? I don't know if it's fake news or not. Um, I also don't know why the chat on my YouTube over there just went completely blank. Ooh, is YouTube mad at me? Are they cut me off? Am I still 5x5, y'all? That was weird. That was kind of creepy. See if I can get that back. Okay, I'm back. Let me get that set right there. All right. That was one of the strangest things that I've ever had happen while I was doing one of these lives is all of a sudden, because I keep two screens up, all of a sudden the chat on my YouTube just went black, just gone. It's back now, but okay. All right. So, hello, Black Cat. I can't talk. Black Cat Whirligig. How are you doing? Uh, Rabbit Coyote 666, how are you? It's good to see you. Uh, Good evening to you. Oh, that's cool. Thank you, Coffee. Um, I was really hoping to see a couple of other people in here because I mentioned a little something about this to a friend of mine who works on one of these bases. Not going to give you his name or what he does. Let's put it this way: he can't talk about his job. But when I was talking about it, I saw a look in his eyes, and it made me think. It bothered me. Um, YouTube is weird. I can chat from my phone, but I can't chat from a PC. I could yesterday. It is strange, Backwoods, and it changes on a daily basis. I have no idea what's going with it, and I ain't gonna try to guess what's going on with it. But listen, y'all. Um, and to be honest with you, a lot of times I do chat from my phone. That's how come a lot of times if y'all see me in a chat room that I'm not doing the highlighting. I'm not doing that because it is hard as hell to do that on a phone. So most of the time I'll just say like, "Hey" at Coffee or "Hey" at Backwoods or something like that. I don't even do the thing to highlight you because with my thumbs it is a pain in the tush to do it. Uh, so anyway, um, I wish I hadn't have lost chat. I lost out on chat a few minutes ago, so I don't know what is going on. Stay vigilant at the Shady Zone. Rabbit Cody, you stay vigilant. You stay vigilant yourself and take care of yourself. Okay. Backwoods about the chat. I think it just does what it wants to do. I don't think there's a whole lot anybody can do about it. But listen, I want to get serious again for just a second before I get done with this because Mrs. Shady's going to be home from work here pretty soon. It's almost supper time. Y'all can take this. You can take this whole video any way you want to. I really don't care. All right. You can take it as fake news. You can take it as fear mongering. You can take it as fear porn, or you can take it for what it is, and that's what I read to you. You can consider it a warning if you'd like to. But I have some very, very strong advice for all of y'all. Whether you're in the chat right now, whether you catch this on a replay later, I have some very strong, very serious advice for each and every one of you out there right now. As soon as you can, whether it be right now, just click off this video and go do it, or as soon as the video is over, first thing in the morning, whatever. As soon as you can, you need to go to your preps and you need to check them. Your defense, your food, your water, your medical supplies. You need to go and you need to check them. You need to make sure that everything you have is safe and in working order. Okay, that includes food and water. You need to make sure that you have enough of these things. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and just pull a number out of my butt. You need to make sure that you have enough for at least 6 months. Because even if the the best case scenario of this with the ports closing, even if that happens, God only knows after the grocery stores start to go dry, start to not have a lot of the things that they have now. God only knows how long it's going to take to get the supply chain back into where the shape it needs to be. Okay. You need to make sure that your firearms are clean, that they are functioning properly. You need to make sure that your ammo is good. Okay. Keep your powder dry. If there is something that you need, And I mean something that you need. I am not telling you to go gamble away your next month's rent or your next month's mortgage payment. But if there is something that you have been needing that you can afford, you need to get it. If you need to put away more food, you need to make a run down to Costco or Safeway or Piggly Wiggly or whatever, and you need to throw some cans up. If you have just started prepping, you have a job ahead of you. Because I'm telling you, from what I am seeing, and I am not saying that this is written in stone, but from the vibe I am getting, there's one of those new woke words, the vibe I am getting from some of this, it's not going to be long. And once it starts, it's going to last a long time. All right. So, hey, Lisa CC, how are you? I don't think I saw you in here earlier. Hope you are doing good. Oh, there you are. Hey, Lisa, darn it, I'm late. Howdy, y'all. Hope everyone is doing well. Hey, Shady. I am doing well, and I also hope that everybody else is doing well. It is good to see you. Thanks for coming in. There were a couple of other folks that I was really hoping would come in here. I actually reached out to them and told them, hey, you need to be here. And honestly, playing around with the times the way I've been doing with these live streams here lately, I can't really depend on anybody to be here. There seems to be a morning crowd and an evening crowd, and then there are some crossovers between both. But anyway, I want you guys to maybe go back, maybe look at some of the stuff that I put out on this video. Do your own research. Hey there, Mr. Newman. How are you? Good to see you, sir. But I would like for you to do your own research. Get your own receipts on it. Don't take my word for it if you don't want to. That's fine. You're not hurting my feelings. But I tell you what, when I'm sitting out on my back deck and I see attack helicopters flying low over my house, I kind of get the heebie-jeebies personally. So there's that. Take it for whatever you want to. It's not going to do a damn bit of harm if you want to go and check your preps and make sure that everything is copacetic with it. All right? Mostly, I want you guys to take care of yourselves. All right? I want you to stay alert, stay vigilant. I want you to do all that for me. All right? Until the next time, take care of yourselves. God bless. Y'all stay shady.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. And these shields, boys!